Here's what I say first.
Bro, like, listen, all right, I don't like Stanley. I think the only person I had banned was Stanley.
And Nate, Stanley doesn't state the obvious, like what the
You don't think one parent influence is detrimental?
I literally said they need to understand that a one-parent influence
But like I say,
is
man, you
potentially
ain't really got to let these people
detrimental.
bother you like that. If they want to beef with you, it's called Stanley versus the world.
And just assume their character by stereotype?
I think people do that every day.
Okay, I didn't ask you what
Do I think
what
it's
people
okay?
do.
Well, thank you very much. We've had some very, really good talks today on Gaza with both the Middle East representatives and kings and all of the top leaders in the Middle East. And we had also a very good conversation with Bibi Netanyahu, trying to get the hostages back, and we're trying to get the end of the Gaza situation. It's really bad, very bad. And we think it could happen. Maybe it could happen pretty soon. We want the hostages back. We want the bodies back. And we want to have peace in that region. So we had some very good talks. As you know, I had President Erdogan here, Turkey, and we had a great meeting today. I think we had a meeting that was very conclusive in so many different things that we wanted, things that he wanted, and that was good. We'll be announcing that sometime later, and he'll be making an announcement too. But we had a great meeting with Turkey and their very respected president, and spent time. We had lunch, and we had a lot of good discussions. So those two things, and we have some executive orders today to sign that are very important for the country. And we'll start off with one that's a proclamation. And yes, want to do that, Will?
Yes, sir. So today is Gold Star Mothers and Families Day. This is an annual proclamation. This is to commemorate the fallen, those who have died for all of our freedoms and for our country, and for their families who have suffered such grievous losses. But this is a proclamation commemorating Gold Star Mothers and Gold Star families.
Yeah, and they're great people, incredible people. What they've had to go through. Very few people could have gone through this kind of thing. Gold Star. Okay, thank you very much. I'll put it over here, Steve.
Next, sir, we have an executive order on TikTok. From the first days of your administration, you've charged a team from your administration led by Vice President Vance with ensuring that we can preserve TikTok as a platform for the 170 million Americans who use it, while ensuring that their data is properly protected as required by law. With this executive order, you will be effectively bringing into effect the agreement that will save TikTok and ensure that it can operate safely and securely.
So this is interesting because I had a very good talk with President Xi, a lot of respect for him. Hopefully he has a lot of respect for me too. And we talked about TikTok and other things, but we talked about TikTok, and he gave us the go ahead. You know, it's run by American investors and American companies, great ones, great investors, the biggest. You don't get bigger, I don't imagine. And maybe I'll have JD. JD was very much involved and in charge of it. And maybe I'll have you say a few words about the deal. He would report back, and the points of the deal, I think, are great for our country. So JD, do you want to give it a little talk, please?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So thank you, sir, for your leadership and for your help. We really couldn't have done this without the president actually ushering this deal over the finish line. There was some resistance on the Chinese side, but the fundamental thing that we wanted to accomplish is that we wanted to keep TikTok operating, but we also wanted to make sure that we protected Americans' data privacy as required by law, both because it's the right thing to do, but also because it's a legal requirement of the law that was passed last year by Congress. So we think that we were able to do that. Of course, we're going to keep on working at it, but this deal really does mean that Americans can use TikTok, but actually use it with more confidence than they had in the past, because their data is going to be secure and it's not going to be used as a propaganda weapon against our fellow citizens. We're very excited about it. We appreciate the cooperation of everybody involved, and it's a big day.
And I think I can say that especially the young people, they really wanted this to happen. They did not want to have TikTok close. And I got, a little used to TikTok. I used it myself during the campaign, and it was very successful because you know how I did with the young voter. And Charlie helped me a lot too. And he said to me, you should go on TikTok. And it actually had, because we got record votes with the young voter, as you know, for the election. So I was a little bit prejudiced in that way toward TikTok. It was very good and very meaningful. But we have American investors taking it over, running it, highly sophisticated, including Larry Ellison. And Oracle, I guess, is going to play a very big role in terms of security, safety, and everything else. So we have very good controls. And literally, I would get a call from friends of mine who were fathers of young people say, could you do me a favor? Could you get it approved, please? My son is driving me crazy. So we're getting it done, and they have a big audience, and we have great American investors. And here's your final
His
comment.
rich friends and the little Trustafarians wanted TikTok, so
maybe
that's why
if you
we
want,
have
we
it.
could take a couple of questions on TikTok, and then we're
Oh
going to get on
boy,
to something
boy,
completely
did
different.
MAGA
Okay?
make a mistake.
Yeah.
MAGA is a problem.
You mentioned that China was resistant. Can you describe where China is now? Are they fully on board with this?
They're
Or
on
is
board.
there anything more?
I spoke with President Xi. We had a good talk. I told him what we were doing, and he said, go ahead with it.
On the algorithm, it's still being leased coming from China. Are you satisfied that there's no security concerns? For the
Yeah,
US
I
that
am.
it would
I really
push-
am.
It would push disruptive.
The biggest reason is that it's owned by Americans. It's, and very sophisticated Americans and people that love the country and very smart Americans too. So they don't want anything like that to happen. Yes, please.
Thank you. Is there any operational relationship with?
They are stable geniuses, those TikTok investors.
I don't think so. Not that I know. This is going to be American operated all the way. And great respect for President Xi. And I very much appreciate that he approved the deal, because to get it done properly, we really needed the support of China and the approval of China. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President, now that Americans will have operational control, do you want to see the algorithm suggest more MAGA-related content prioritized?
I always like MAGA related. If I could, I'd make it 100% MAGA related. It's actually a good question, but I would.
Of course you would,
If I
and
could
you
make
will
it
move towards that
100% MAGA,
direction.
I would, but it's not going to work out that way, unfortunately. No, everyone's going to be treated fairly. Every group, every philosophy, every policy will be treated very fairly.
What's up, CK?
President, do you know the valuation? Do you know the American company is going to be valued in billions?
Well, they valued it very highly. They're paying a big number. Do you want to talk, Scott? Do you want to say something about value?
Well, I'll let the Vice
Okay,
President, and then
JD?
I can follow
And
up.
you'll say something.
Sure. Well, first of all, I would say all credit goes to the Secretary of the Treasury. Couldn't have got it done without Scott. Also couldn't have got it done without Sean Cooksey on my team. So thanks to them. The company will be valued around $14 billion. We actually think this is a good deal for investors, but ultimately the investors are going to make the determination about what they want to invest in and what they think is proper value. The most important thing is that it does protect Americans' data security. It ensures TikTok is still accessible. And on this question of the algorithm, which we've heard this a lot, what this deal ensures is that the American entity and the American investors will actually control the algorithm.
Hey, Untrackable. Long time no see. Welcome aboard.
Make sure that our people and our investors actually make these decisions based on what's good for their business, as opposed to what's good for another government's propaganda arm. So that's what we've done with this deal. I think it's very good for the American people. And as the president said, young people love this. We actually want everybody to access this, whether they're MAGA or not. We just want it to be fair. We want it to be fair to everybody. And we think that's what's going to happen with this new arrangement.
Well, the U.S. government.
And just to follow up on the Vice President, there were two pieces to the transaction. The Vice President's office has worked since the spring for the commercial transaction between the investor groups, and then Treasury and a group, including the Vice President's office, were in Madrid 2 weeks ago to negotiate with the Chinese. And it was a result of President Trump's close relationship with Party Chair Xi that we were able to get this across the line. We created a framework for Party Chair Xi.
It's a very close relationship.
And then on the leaders' call, Xi and President Trump discuss the final arrangement. So it was 1-2, and that was the final piece.
Will the U.S. government get any kind of annual payment as a result of this deal?
Taxes, it's gonna make money, and we're gonna get a lot of money in taxes. And you know, China wanted to see this go. It's a great legacy for China too. I thought President Xi was great in terms of his approval. We probably could have done it a different way, but it wouldn't have been the same. Wouldn't have been the same security at all, but I appreciated that he approved it.
So nothing aside from taxes, there's no part of the deal that is like a payment to the U.S. government?
Well, we're going to be announcing different things, but the U.S. comes out great. And I think China comes out great because they're going to have a very important legacy. And they have many other deals. You know, they have deals with us and they have deals in here in this country. And, you know, they want to be treated fairly also.
So, Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, the U.S. company could change the algorithm to push different content? Is that?
The U.S. company will have control over how the algorithm pushes content to users. And that was a very important part of it. We thought it was necessary for the national security element of the law. We also just think it's important to protect American users. Again, we want users to use this platform the way they want to. We want the business to make decisions about content based on the interests of the business and based on the interests of the users. And that's what we think will happen with this new arrangement.
And they're paying a lot of money, and I think hopefully it's going to be a great deal. They're very sophisticated people. You'll see a list. Have you seen a list yet of the people? Well, you've been reading about it. It's I know Michael Dell's involved, and Rupert Murdoch's involved. And,
MAGA controlling the algorithm.
Probably 4 or 5 absolutely world-class investors that love the country. They made a lot of money with the country, and many of them are in a somewhat related business, so it works out pretty well. And they're going to be very careful about all of these questions that you've been asking.
Someone asked about Elon Musk. Is
Well,
he
it's a blue
invested?
chip group of investors, and we'll be announcing more about who exactly is involved in the deal in the days to come.
Oracle's playing a very big part.
That's right, sir.
And Oracle really understands this. And I think they're
That's
actually,
right,
you know,
sir.
they've been involved
That's
for
right,
quite a while
sir.
running it for the people, the previous people.
He sounds like
And,
questions to ponder.
so it's
That's
really-
right,
I
Miss.
think it's gonna
That's
be very
right,
well
John
protected.
Galt.
Very, very prestigious deal, actually.
On that point,
That's right, Mr.
as the
President.
said, Oracle has actually had a role in housing the data for a long time, even when the entity was controlled by the ByteDance organization in China. So Oracle had a pretty interesting perspective on what was necessary to actually create true data privacy protections for Americans. They were a very important part of getting this thing done.
Mr. President, you told us a couple of weeks ago you thought that the
Well,
security
both
system
sides
was
want it,
great.
but one
Were
side
there
got it.
concerns
There,
when it comes to
CK.
safety?
From my standpoint, no, because the people that own it are
They're not going to give it up willingly.
China-centric, they're USA-centric, and they're very smart people. I guess you could say it about everything. Everything is what's secure nowadays. Things that you think are totally secure turn out to not to be. But I think in this case, it's going to be as secure as you can be because of the ownership and the people. And they have a big investment. You know, it's to their advantage to make sure it's good and safe. Yeah. Anybody else? Do you have a question? No, behind you.
Well, I just want to say, do you think this move and getting this deal done, Mr. President, do you think this honors the legacy? Like Charlie Kirk, you mentioned that he specifically pushed you to get involved with TikTok in the campaign, helped you win young voters. Do you think this deal honors him?
Well, I think it's a good thing. It's a good sign. We're doing very well, as you know, with the trade deals. We're doing very well with China, and a lot of them. We were never treated properly. We were for 4 years, actually, but we were never treated very properly by other countries. And we're doing well. We've never done this well. We have, because of the tariffs that are coming in, the deals that are being made, $950 billion in one case, $950 billion, where previously they paid nothing. We have,
Yes, that Americans
as you know,
are going
Japan
to
is
have to
$550
pay.
billion, South Korea's
The
$350
countries are
billion.
not
So
paying
it's
this.
upfront. And one of the things I can say, I announced it lightly before, but we're taking in tremendous amounts of money with tariffs. We've never seen anything like it. No country's ever seen anything like it. I'm going to devote a little bit of that money, a little bit of the tariff money to our farmers. Our farmers have been incredible. They're the ones that let us survive and eat and enjoy our lives, right? Eat too much, maybe in some cases. like mine. But I will tell you, we're going to take some of the tariff money, relatively small amount, but a lot for the farmers. And we're going to help the farmers out a little bit because
Well,
during this
CK, the
transition
money it
period,
brings
the
in is
period where we're
advertising money,
taking
right?
in incredible amounts of money, we'll have a little bit of a shortfall with the farmers until the tariffs kick in, because they haven't kicked in for the farmers yet. And I decided before, and I spoke to all of the people here, that I want to make a contribution out of the tariff money, a small percentage of it, but it's a lot for the farmers. It'll make the farmers feel very good, just help them through the transition. And ultimately, they're going to be making a fortune. They will be one of the top in the whole world in terms of percentage gotten from the tariffs we're taking in. But we have so much coming in, it's a very small thing. But I want to, in fact, just get the word out to the farmer, because they'll be struggling until the transition's complete. Then after that, they're going to do, I think, better than they've ever done before. Last time I said, get yourself a larger tractor and more land. And that was when they were doing very poorly. And they ended up doing that, and they did very well. That was with the deal we made with China. Unfortunately, Biden forgot about the deal, and he never enforced. I enforced it till the end, and China was very honorable. But when Biden came in, he didn't enforce it. So when you don't enforce a deal, they don't do it. So it was terrible. Biden was very bad to the farmers of our country. So we're going to be doing that. It's an honor to do it, too. Brian, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's your message to the millions of small businesses here in the U.S. that really rely on TikTok to reach their end user, to market their service and their product?
Well, thank you for that question, because honestly, we were getting hit up. They use it for virtual advertising, and they pay very little for it and nothing for it. And small businesses have become very successful because of TikTok. And we didn't think of that, when everyone's saying, oh, TikTok and this and that. But over the last 6 months, I was called by so many people saying they're going to go out of business if they can, because they use it virtually as a advertising tool. And without it, they wouldn't have anything. They wouldn't be able to get the word out about their good product or whatever it is they're selling. So it's a very important thing for small business. It's another reason I wanted to do the deal so badly. So let's go to another subject now, if we might, okay? And Will, please. Yes, go ahead.
What does that look like? Is that going to be direct checks to farmers, or is it going to be?
Well, we haven't decided that. We'll be dealing with Brooke later, and the Secretary of Agriculture, and we'll figure out how to get money to the farmers. And again, this comes out of the large amount, hundreds of billions of dollars of tariff money that's pouring into the country. The tariffs, remember when I said a long time ago, I said it's the greatest word. It's my favorite word in the world. Then I had to say, I was forced to say other things, and of course, rightfully so. Love, family, religion. So I think I put tariff number 5. I was forced because the fake news did a big number on me. It's one of those little, but let's say it's my 5th favorite word, the word tariff. But it's making our country very rich. And when our country is rich, I'm able to help the farmers, and I'm able to help even other countries that are in trouble. But we're able to help people that are in trouble. Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. It's all a benefit of this tremendous amount. And I hear numbers coming in today, Scott, where the numbers were very high, right?
The economic numbers were off the charts, sir.
Unfortunately, right? Because this is the only country in the world where you announce great numbers and the stock market goes down. Because when you announce great numbers, they immediately want to take that success away by raising the interest rates. Why can't you announce great numbers and let them lower the interest rate so you can make numbers? This is the only country in the world. I don't know if you heard. Could you just tell them what the number was? And how
It was 3.88% growth, the biggest in years. And the important thing, as the president says, this is going to be non-inflationary growth, just like it was in its first term. So strong growth, low inflation, real wage gains. And to the question on small business optimism under President Trump last week hit a multi-year high. So small businesses, Main Street is back under President Trump.
But isn't it crazy? So I saw the market was down a little bit today. I mean, in all fairness, I don't feel guilty because we've set every record you can imagine. But it was down, and I say, oh, the numbers must be good, meaning the growth numbers are phenomenal. And again, this is during, but a little bit of pre the heavy, the really success and the money pouring into our country through the tariffs. And I just say, why can't we have great numbers and lower the interest rates so we have even greater numbers? So people were saying, oh, the numbers are so good, they're going to have to raise interest rates. That doesn't have to happen. And there's no inflation. We have really, I mean, the only thing we have is great success. We're having unbelievable success. So the numbers are much higher than anticipated, except for by me and Scott and some of the other people. And they'll get a lot higher than that too. But I don't want to, every time we have good numbers, say, let's take all the juice out by raising interest rates. It's so backwards. It's so backwards.
Mr. President, they don't appreciate the importance of the third leg of your stool, because trade, taxes, and deregulation allows for significant upside growth without inflation. So eventually the people at the Fed will be able to focus on this like Alan Greenspan did in the 90s. You can have strong growth and low inflation. And I think we can get the stock market up, Wall Street, Main Street, both doing well.
And we want low interest rates. There's no reason that every time we announce these record numbers, these numbers are way above projections by, all the great geniuses out there. They knew this was going to happen. So they had 71 different people and only 2 got it right. Me and another gentleman from, I think, my wonderful Wharton School of Finance, actually. So anyway, but I really want you to look at that. Every time we have good numbers, they say this is a good time because they're guarding against inflation that may happen in 2 years from now. We have to change. We have to change our thinking. We should be rewarded for good numbers, not penalized.
So, Mr. President, is that 3.8? Is that the start of a 3% growth for the
Well,
entire year?
the number was projected at 2, because we're in a little bit of a transition period, but that transition period's ending faster than we thought on tariffs. The money coming in is much greater than people thought, and there's no inflation. Essentially, there's no inflation. We just went through the worst inflation in the history of our country under Sleepy Joe Biden. He was sleeping, and the inflation was really bad, worst ever. They say 48 years. I'll take that too, but I think it was probably the worst inflation we ever had because of spending and energy going through the roof and everything else. By the way, energy's way down. And you're going to really be impressed when you hear what happened today with President Erdogan of Turkey. I think it's great for both countries. I think it's great. We have great relationships with a lot of countries. And you may be even more happy when you find out, because we spoke with Bibi Netanyahu today, and we spoke to all the leaders in the Middle East who are great people. And we're getting pretty close to having a deal on Gaza and maybe even peace, which would be the first time in about, 2,000 years, I think. In the region, I'd say the first in, Steve, what would you say, first in 2,000 years or maybe 1,000? Huh?
2 millennium.
It's a long time. Yeah, go ahead.
Did everyone agree to stop buying Russian oil?
I don't want to say that, but if I want him to, he will, yeah.
But he didn't take that.
Well, I didn't say, okay, you stop, but I believe you. I believe he will stop it, yeah. You know why? Because he can buy from a lot of other people. He can buy from a lot of other people. You know who really can't is Hungary. Hungary's got, they're landlocked, and they don't have a nice ocean where ships can sail in from all over the world. They have one pipeline coming. Because I spoke with, he's a great guy, he's a great friend of mine, but that's a harder one for them. And Slovakia too. They're sort of married to one pipeline. So I just don't want to have people go blaming them when, we spoke to them at length today, and it seems like that, for them it's a little, but that's Turkey has a lot of options. He's a great president, a very smart man, and he's going to take, he's going to do what's right. But we had a very good conversation having to do with the purchase of military equipment, etc. Any other
Would you
questions?
make a deal on F-35s, Mr. President?
I will be able to easily if I want. So we may do that, yeah.
But not yet.
Well, it depends. He's going to do something for us, yeah. Please.
The U.S. sanctions on Turkey?
Can I ask you, we're a few days away.
By the way, here we go with this guy. Go ahead, let's go. Let's hear the
We're a few
question.
days away from the end of the fiscal year potential shutdown.
Right.
There's going to be a government shutdown?
Could be, because the Democrats are crazed. They don't know what they're doing. They want to have the border opened up so that criminals can pour in. We're doing unbelievable borders closed and people are coming into our country legally. They continue to want to have men and women sports. They continue to want to have transgender for everyone. They want to raise everybody's taxes at a number that's not sustainable. It's the only time in the world I've ever seen a party that wants to raise taxes. I grew up in a family where I'd watch politics and I always liked it from the time I was very young, but I'd always see politicians say, we will lower your taxes. These guys, they campaign on raising your taxes, but they want to raise taxes very substantially.
The one thing they're concerned about, look, Republicans have total control of Washington. You guys have control of the House, the Senate, there's you.
Well, when you say control, so we need 60 votes for this, and we have 53 Republicans, so we need 7 Democrats.
And those 7 Democrats and others are asking for an extension of a tax credit on people who get the Affordable Care Act and some other government-backed health care. So are you willing to negotiate
Well,
on
what
that
they're
issue?
really asking for is they want to pay for illegal aliens that have come into our country by the millions and get onto the rolls, and they want to pay. And our people don't want to do that. Our people are taxed enough. We just approved the largest tax decrease ever in the history of our country, including the extension of the previous Trump tax cuts. The tax cuts that we just approved, they want to use those tax cuts to give the money to illegal aliens, people that came into our country illegally and that are leaving the country.
So why not
There's been a
negotiate?
self-deportation because of what we've been doing that's been incredible. Okay, yeah, please.
Secretary Hexer is inviting military leaders from all around the country on Tuesday. Will you also be there?
From all around the country to what?
To Virginia.
He's inviting the generals and admirals to Virginia for a big meeting. They're not sure why.
Well, I know, I love it. I think it's great. Let them be friendly. Let them be friendly with the generals and admirals from all over the world. Why, is there something, no, but is there something wrong with it?
What is it about? Will you be there personally as well? And what is it about?
Well, I'll be there if they want me, but why is that such a big deal? The fact that we're getting along with the generals and admirals from all, remember, I'm the president of peace. It's good to get along. It's good. You act like this is a bad thing. Isn't it nice that people are coming from all over the world to be with us?
It's not particularly unusual that generals who report to the Secretary of War and then to the President of the United States are coming to speak with the Secretary of War. It's actually not unusual at all, and I think it's odd that you guys have made it into such a big story.
Is it a big story?
I don't think it is, sir.
I would think it's, no, but isn't it a good story? We're respected from all over the world as a military force. I rebuilt the military during my first term, and even though we gave a chunk of it away to Afghanistan, but we're talking Afghanistan too, by the way, about Bagram and about that. But that's a very small amount compared to what we rebuilt it by. But I rebuilt the military, and we're very respected. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world without question. We have the greatest equipment in the world. We're selling the equipment to other countries. And a lot of generals want to be here and they want to look at they're also going to be touring equipment sites. They're going to be talking about the newest weapons, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's great when generals and top people want to come to the United States to be with our now called Secretary of War. Does everybody like the name? I do.
You said something
Yeah,
really
please.
interesting this week about Ukraine, that you thought Ukraine could get back all the territory that Russia had.
Yeah, they have a shot at it
What
because Russia.
prompted you to change your thoughts on
Well, because I've been watching the way what Russia's been doing. I'm very dissatisfied with what Russia's doing and what President Putin is doing. I haven't liked it at all. He's killing people for no reason whatsoever. And they are doing very poorly considering they have put it all out on the line. Their economy is going to hell. They're bombing the hell out of everything, and they're picking up a very little territory, if any. In fact, they're losing some territory. So I think it's been very bad for the reputation of Russia. This war should have been over. If this were our war, we would have had it over in 1 week. And they're getting into fourth year, Jeff. They're getting into the fourth year now. 4 years of fighting, and you see what they've taken. In the last month, they've taken very little, and you've been reporting on all the bombing, all the drones all over the place, 900 drones coming into certain areas like Kiev and one night. And with all of that work, they've taken over very little. So now I'm very disappointed in President Putin. I thought I solved 7 wars. In fact, we have a great leader coming. We have the Prime Minister of Pakistan coming and the Field Marshal. Pakistan Field Marshal is a very great guy, and so is the Prime Minister, both. And they're coming, and they may be in this room right now. I don't know, because we're late. And I said maybe they'd like to join the. They actually may be somewhere in the beautiful Oval Office. Yeah, please, behind you.
Did you promise leaders this week that you would not allow Israel to annex the West Bank? Is that something that you?
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it. Whether I spoke to him or not, I did. But I'm not allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. There's been enough. It's time to stop now, okay? Yes, please.
Jasmine Crockett recently.
Jasmine Crockett. Remember when I said, is she a relation to the late, great Davy Crockett? I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett, let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person. I mean, if we ever had to pass an aptitude test, that's the one should take one, because she shouldn't even be in the crowd. So I have no idea what you're going to, but I don't think we should waste our time. This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson. Between her and Ilman Omar and the group. You know, I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back, and he said, I don't want her. Okay, what else? Go ahead. You want? Let's hear what Crockett said. Go ahead.
Compared ICE raids to slave patrol, I want to ask you.
To slave?
To slave patrol.
You know, the low IQ is literally underneath that very weird looking hairstyle.
I want to ask you if you think that there should be consequences for members of Congress who make these types of comparisons.
Yeah. Well, I think she's gone over the line, and I think a lot of the people. Look, the Democrats have become radical left lunatics. They have policies that nobody's going to buy. And, you know, I see what's going on in New York. We're going to have perhaps a communist mayor, because it's split up. You know, if the people would get together and have one candidate, they'd have, I think, a pretty good chance. But it looks like maybe they're not going to do that. But we're going to end up with a communist mayor. It's not even believable, my beautiful New York. When I left New York to become president, it was a great place. But it was the beginning of bad things, because we had de Blasio had just started as mayor. And I said, this guy's this guy's a real nut job. Went to Harvard to teach management. Can you believe it? He went to Harvard to teach city management, along with the mayor of Chicago, who went to Harvard to teach. The two of them are teaching how to manage a city manage it into hell is what they do. But that was the beginning. And now we're going to go a step further. Now we're going with the communists. Can I be honest? I think it's the greatest thing to ever happen.
Thank God I was muted. It was a bit of invective.
I think if a communist takes over New York City, I think that's a gift to the Republican Party. It's sad for New York, but it's a gift. And New York will recover, because sometimes you need a shock like that to straighten you out. But it's politically, it's probably a very good thing.
Immigration, crime, and the World Cup. So
that's a lot of
we have
questions.
We have a number of cities that are pushing back against your immigration deportation move, as well as your crime initiatives. Some of those cities,
I don't think they're very much pushing
some of those
that.
cities have World Cup games.
Yeah.
Seattle, San Francisco.
They're going to be very secure.
Could those games move if they don't cooperate with your crime?
Well, that's an interesting one, I guess, but we're going to make sure they're safe. They're run by radical left lunatics and that don't know what they're doing. Look at Washington, D.C. I just got numbers. There's like no crime in Washington, D.C. You, Jeff, will not be mugged walking down the street. You can walk down the street with your family. You can walk down your street with your wife, your daughter, your son, and you're not going to be. We took out 1,700 career criminals that we're not allowing back. And we have this city in great shape. You know, there was a time when not long ago, when every single week you'd have at least one murder. And look what's happening with Washington. It's safe. I went to dinner in Washington just to prove a point. I gave a press conference in the middle of a street. I wouldn't say Secret Service was thrilled, but I did it, and here I am. Look, Washington, D.C. is such a great example of what can be done. We did it in 12 days. We made it very safe in 12 days, and now it's much safer than that. One other thing, I drove around Washington over the weekend, and I said, look at the difference. The grass looked great. Everything looked great. You know, we had a lot of our National Guard, and we didn't ask them to do it. They did it themselves. They're proud. They're great. And they were picking up paper. They were cleaning. The place looked really beautiful. So we have a great Washington, D.C. We, as you probably know, we're going into Memphis, and we're going into some other cities. And very soon we're going to go into Chicago. It will be safe for the World Cup. If I think it isn't safe, we'll move it into a different city. Absolutely. We'll take the world. If I think it's not, it's actually a very fair question. If I think it's not safe, we're going to move it out of that city. If like the governor of Illinois, who is, you know, look, last week, between last week and the week before, 11 murders and 38 people were shot. Then he gets up and he says, this is a very safe. And then he says crime is better. The reason crime is better is because Cash put about 5 months ago a whole team of FBI people there to get ready for when we go in. And they've lowered it a little bit, you know, like 20, 25%, which isn't good enough, but it's a good start. But that was only put there because they're preparing for us to go in. And they've done, by the way, they've done a good job. So then Pritzker gets up, we've lowered crime 25. It's because the FBI was there. So no, if any city we think is going to be even a little bit dangerous for the World Cup or for the Olympics, you know, where they have Olympic overthrow, right? But for the World Cup in particular, because they're playing in so many cities, we won't allow it to go to, we'll move it around a little bit. But I hope that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Mr. President, Director Patel this morning indicated that the shooter in Dallas had been using an app to track ICE. Does your administration have any plans to take down those apps or get them removed?
Well, I can't tell you about that, but it tells you when they want to wear masks or they want to hide a little bit, why that's so important. But these are great patriots, the ICE, and what a tough job they have. What an unbelievably tough job they have. And think of it, what are they doing? They're taking hardcore criminals out of our country and putting them back. These were largely criminals that were given to us by Joe Biden and his group of radical maniacs that surrounded this desk, just like these people surround the desk now, but they're not maniacs, they're pretty solid people.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad I prefaced. But they're great. We have a great cabinet. We have great people. And he didn't have great people. He had terrible people. Look at Afghanistan. Look at the people he had running our military. That could happen. The most embarrassing day in the history of our country was Afghanistan. And 13 young people died. They don't ever talk about the 38 that were horribly wounded with legs and arms and everything else, really horribly wounded. So the country's respected like it's probably almost never been respected before. I think we're respected at a level. And a year ago, it was a dead country. We had a dead country a year ago. This country was dying. It was really in bad shape. Let's talk about the next subject, can we?
One of the most powerful deterrents we have to violent crime is the death penalty. As you said, your administration has taken bold, decisive steps to ensure that Washington, D.C. is once again a safe and secure city for its residents and all who visit. This is a presidential memorandum that directs your Attorney General and your U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Judge Jeanine Pirro, to fully implement the death penalty here in Washington, D.C., where the evidence and facts of a case indicate that the death penalty should be used.
Okay. Everybody understand? Death penalty in Washington. You kill somebody, or if you kill a police officer, law enforcement officer, death penalty. And hopefully there won't be that. So again, it's way down. I mean, we have had week after week after week where we haven't had a murder. I said that the other day in front of the president of Poland. The press was here, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce that Washington, D.C. has not had a death in 4 weeks, a murder. And he looked at me and goes, is that good or bad? You know, he said, what kind of a place is this? But it's true for years. I mean, every week essentially somebody got killed or more than one. And this is a very safe city right now. We don't play games. And you know, it's interesting. We took these careers out, career criminals. They call them careers.
Yeah,
They left the word criminal
it's
out.
safe for
We
now.
took the careers out of here.
Somebody needs to ask him,
Now,
how
going
will
back
you
to their homes,
sustain it
or they're in
over
jail,
a
or they're in a
medium or
jail in
long
another
term?
country, and hopefully they're not coming back. And we have to maintain it. You can't just leave, and we have to maintain it. We've gotten along fairly well with the mayor. You know, she's getting a party that hates that the city's becoming safe. I mean, they're actually criticizing her because the city's becoming safe. But this is becoming this is right now a very, very safe city. This is considered, this went from the most
Yes,
unsafe
right
city in
now,
the country to
it
the
is.
safest city in the country. There's no city any safer. That's a pretty big achievement. And we really did it in 12 days. But if you add an extra week to it, that'd be nice. And I mean, you can go out to dinner. Restaurants are booming. You know, the restaurants were dead. They were dead. Even if you got to the restaurant, then somebody would come in and hold you up.
Last
You know,
I
they'd
checked,
hold up the whole
restaurants
restaurant.
are not
They
booming.
go to
Now,
Uber.
maybe something's
Young
changed in the
ladies in
past
White
couple
House,
weeks.
they'd call Uber for protection. They'd run to the car because they were petrified to be from the entrance of their building to the car. Now they feel safe. They're in the car, and then the car gets hijacked while they're in the back of the car. This is what we were living in. We were living in hell. People that work in the White House, every time they see me, young women in particular, say, "Thank you, sir." And I don't even ask them about what. I know exactly. I made their lives. Now they're living in a beautiful, glamorous place called Washington, D.C. with no crime. And that's the way it should be. Okay? This is the death penalty for somebody that kills people in Washington, D.C. I think it's capital. It's a very interesting capital punishment.
Soon they'll be in your ballroom dancing waltzes.
But this is our capital city. We can't allow that to happen. People come in from Iowa to look at the Lincoln Memorial and they end up getting killed. It doesn't happen anymore. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's the death penalty for the person that did it. And this goes into effect, right? Pam, is that right? Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. Not only are we seeking it in Washington, D.C., but all over the country again. And as you saw very recently, we are now moving the inmates who were on death row, who Joe Biden or the auto pen commuted their sentences off of death row. We're moving them to supermax facilities where they will be treated like they're on death row for the rest of their lives, President Trump.
Okay, that's a big statement. Thank you very much. Okay. I see some of you shaking your heads very positively. Thank you,
God
Brian.
damn.
Thank you, fellas.
How big is that signature? Is his signature getting bigger?
If anybody illegal killed a U.S. citizen or a police officer, so this just reinforces your campaign promise.
Right. And most people really like it. And Washington, again, it's going to serve as a beacon because you have to do it. These are bad people. When you look at that guy, the guy that killed the young lady in the train in North Carolina, that he'll be in trial for years and years, years. He'll get a good lawyer somewhere along the line. Somebody will come along, and what he did to that young lady, and she went into that train scared. You know, when she went in, the way she sat down, she was scared to just be there. She just wanted to not pay any attention to anybody, just not be noticed. And she had her throat slit. We don't want that in this country anymore. We're not going to have it in this country anymore. Thank you very much. Next.
Lastly, sir, this is a presidential memorandum on countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence. In recent weeks, months, and years, we've seen a tremendous upsurge in some highly visible, but also other acts of domestic terrorism and organized political violence being perpetrated by radical, politically motivated groups all over the country. What this presidential memorandum will do is set off an administration-wide response to that, ranging from the Joint Terrorism Task Forces to other components of the Department of Justice, to the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Treasury. We're looking at interdicting these groups, preventing them from performing acts of violence, and also looking at sources of organization and funding and support that prop them up and allow them to do the acts that they have been doing.
We're looking at the funders of a lot of these groups. And, you know, when you see the signs, and they're all beautiful signs made professionally, these aren't your protesters that make the sign in their basement late in the evening because they really believe it. These are anarchists and agitators, professional anarchists and agitators, and they get hired by wealthy people, some of whom I know, I guess, probably know. And you wouldn't know it. You're at dinner with them, everything's nice, and then you find out that they funded millions of dollars to these lunatics. Steve, could you say a couple of words?
Yes, Mr. President. This is a very historic and significant day. This is the first time in American history that there is an all-of-government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism, to dismantle Antifa, to dismantle the organizations that have been carrying out these acts of political violence and terrorism. What we have seen, if you look at whether it be going back to the riots that started with Black Lives Matter and all the way through to the Antifa riots, the attacks on ICE officers, the doxing campaigns, and now the political assassinations, these are not lone, isolated events. This is part of an organized campaign of radical left terrorism. It is structured, it is sophisticated, it is well-funded, it is well-planned. There is really no parallel like this to anything else in the country right now. There is an entire system of feeder organizations that provide money, resources, weapons, and when they're attacking ICE officers, they're attacking federal buildings, where they're isolating public officials for harassment, doxing, intimidation, and ultimately attempted assassination. It is all carefully planned, executed, and thought through. It is terrorism on our soil. Because of this executive order, Cash and Pam are going to have the tools they need, working with Scott, to take these organizations apart piece by piece. And the central hub of that effort is going to be the Joint Terrorism Task Force, or JTTF, which sits inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But for those at home who are worried about terrorism in this country, they need to understand, because of President Trump's strength, because of his vision, because of his leadership, we are now going to use the entire force of the federal government to uproot these organizations root and branch. And again, that's only possible because of President Trump and his leadership.
Thank you, Steve. Cash, please.
Yes, as Steve was saying, Mr. President, thanks to your leadership, crime is going downward in a tremendous fashion, and that's what we want for every city in America. And the FBI's premier flagship enterprise, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, are honored to lead this initiative with our partners at Treasury and Homeland Security, because our citizens are being attacked by, as Stephen said, organized violence, and it's being paid for, not by them, by other people. So what we are going to do, combining forces as Scott and I have done in these last few months, is follow the money. People and organizations have collected funds and put them out into the streets of America and organized violence across our country. And thanks to your recognition of this,
has anyone ever
AG's leadership
compared Cash Patel to a Joe Pesci character?
Down, like the domestic terrorists that they are, and our streets and our communities are going to be safer because the JTTF and the FBI and Treasury and DHS and DOJ are going to combine forces like never before to root out this new evil that is perpetrating our criminal activities across our societies. And we are just so thankful for your leadership and recognition of it. It's not easy to do.
Good job. Thank you very much.
Who
Pam?
specifically do you want to target?
What?
Besides Antifa, is there a specific group or person you're targeting in this?
Any organized group.
Any organization?
Any organized group who are committing these crimes. And we're working with the Secretary of Treasury. You know what law enforcement has told us under President Trump's leadership? He's taken the handcuffs off law enforcement. They can do their jobs now, thanks to you, President Trump, and that's what's happening. And all of these agencies that Cash mentioned.
My God, these people are literally sycophantic.
We're working with Homeland Security, Cash's agents, all of our agents, DEA, ATF, U.S. Marshals, combined are working, and with state and local government, to take these people off the streets who are jeopardizing lives.
Can I just illustrate this? So I was talking with Cash and Stephen about this a couple of days ago, sir. So I believe it was in Oregon where you had a federal building where there were men in black ski masks who were committing acts of violence, who were shutting down a government building. To the president's point, they don't come from nowhere. These are paid people. This is organized. They're committing acts of political terrorism on American soil. And it's time we had a government that looked out for the American people rather than the people who are committing.
You know
violence.
what? All these motherfuckers are just whistling
When you go out to
Dixie.
Portland and you see what's happening
This is
in Portland,
literally
it's like nobody
theater.
does anything like it every night, and this has gone on for years. They just burned the place down. And
We're going to be like
shop owners, most
3
of them, but
years
the few
from
shops
now,
that are open,
there
they just
will
use
have
plywood
not
and
been
just like
any
3/4 inch
quote
plywood.
left-wing
They don't
terrorist
put stuff on it because
arrested
they know it's
unless
gonna
they
be
make
burned
some
down.
shit up.
These are professional agitators.
Right.
These are bad people, and they're paid a lot of money by rich people, some of whom we know. I'm sure I know some. I don't, if I knew, I wouldn't associate because I'll be in trouble because Pam will say, why are you associating with this person? But I will tell you that these are bad people and they're paying a lot of money, millions of dollars. But take a look at Portland sometime. These are wild, these are crazy people. And they're trying to burn down buildings, including federal buildings. And on my list of things that I want to do before we finish up with the cities, because I think we're going to whip the cities back into shape, but we have to. We cannot let our cities, and that's a small example, but it's the most violent example. It's every night, and they've done it for years. You think maybe at some point they made their point, and what are they doing? But we're going to get out there, and we're going to do a pretty big number of those people in Portland that are doing that. They're professional agitators and anarchists. They're actually anarchists. Yeah. Go ahead. Why don't you defend? Let's see you defend them, Jeff.
No, I'm not defending anyone. I just want, so that we can just explain this in our stories.
You don't explain it right, though, Jeff. Go ahead. Let's go. Maybe let's give you another chance. Go ahead.
Antifa, Soros. What names are we talking about?
Well, Soros is a name certainly that I keep hearing. I don't know, but Soros is a name that I hear. I hear a lot of different names. I hear names of some pretty rich people that are radical left people. Maybe I hear about a guy named Reid Hoffman. Somebody's a pretty rich guy, I guess, and I hear about him. I don't know. Maybe could be him. Could be a lot of people. We hear the same names, but they're bad, and we're going to find out. And if they are funding these things, they're going to have some problems because they're agitators and they're anarchists. These are anarchists. Really bad. Okay. Yeah, please.
Mr. General, can you, Mr. President, can you, are you,
Who are you
Mr.
with?
President,
Who are you with?
I'm with the Center Square, Sarah Roderick. There's also, as you know, Antifa is not just a domestic or now a domestic terror organization. It's also international. I know the Netherlands is looking at also designating them a terror organization. Have you been working with your intel community and your DNI to possibly expand that to making them designated
Yes,
an
we have.
international terror
Yeah, we have
organization?
been. Yep. It's an international. In many cases, it is international.
Because
Yeah.
on Antifa, if someone takes to the streets of America and says they're Antifa, what happens to them? What will happen to them?
Well, I'd say the maximum under the law, and we'll see. Now, if they kill somebody, we just signed a death penalty, so it depends where it is. But if they kill somebody, which they do, I mean, people are dying. You go out to Portland, people die out there. Many people have died over the years in Portland. Portland is, I don't know how anybody lives there. It's amazing. But it's anarchy out there. And that's what they want. They want anarchy. Like when they attacked Seattle and took over a big percentage of the city. I was going to go out and we were going to do a big number. They heard that and everybody broke up all of a sudden. But, you know, you have governors that have to run that and a lot of them don't do that. I don't like to go in. I'd rather have Pritzker's support when we go into Chicago. But if we don't have it, that's okay too, because we're paramount and we will do what we have to do. We're going to make Chicago safe. We're going to make we're going to make as many as we can. And usually that involves a surge. But what we did with, in the case of Chicago, by having the FBI go out there 5 or 6 months ago, we brought it down a little bit. You know, a little bit is 25%, so it's not so little, but it is when you're talking about the kind of crime and killings and murders that you hear in Chicago. But we're going to get it. Chicago's a great city. As the Union Pacific said, the head of the Union Pacific, who's a great guy, started off as a low-rung guy. He said he started at a caboose, and now he's the chairman of the Union Pacific. But he's a great guy. But he said, "Sir, don't lose Chicago." The way he said it, I said, "Boy, it really hit me." You know, here's a man that knows all the cities. The Union Pacific, I guess, is our largest railroad, and he knows all the cities. He's been doing it for 45 years, and he said, "Sir, don't lose Chicago." And the way he said that meant a lot to me. And we're going to go into Chicago very soon. We're going to take care of Memphis. We're going to take care of Memphis.
Nah, you're not going into Chicago. You're whistling Dixie,
Take care of that
sir.
one, and just like we did Washington, D.C. And we're gonna do Chicago very soon. Yeah.
There could be an indictment on James Comey. Do you know if there is an indictment or?
I don't know. I know it's going on because I read the papers just like you do. Right? So I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that? Yeah.
Madam Attorney General, can you comment on a New York Times report saying that Justice Department officials have asked attorneys to
to target a George Soros-funded group? And is this executive order that you just signed a part of that effort?
I'm not going to comment on whether there is or is not a pending investigation, but everything's on the table right now.
I don't think anybody has to ask, because if you look at Soros, he's at the top of every, in fact, sometimes they say, could he be involved in this many things? But he's in every story that I read. Stories that I read keep talking about Soros. And so, I guess he'd be a likely candidate. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dude, go after billionaires. You're gonna regret it, Trump. You are not. You are just the president of the United States. Start fucking with the billionaires, and well, number one, he's not gonna go after Soros, and number two, I guess I can never say never, but I don't see how he's gonna be able to go into Chicago if he's not invited. So maybe he has something up that sleeve. So this is the next thing I want to watch, and it's about an hour long. And once this is done, we are out of here. Let's see if we can't get around this. Oh my Lord. Let's see here. Oh, there we are.
What is going on, family? How is everyone doing? We're not going to be here all day. But some people did a thing, and we have to talk about the thing that the people did. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. We just have to kind of talk about the thing that they did. There are people who are desiring of getting attention, even though they've had all the attention that the world has ever had to give. So, for those of you all who are unawares, let me tell you a little bit. That light is bright. I should have turned it further to the side. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. For those of you all who are not aware of what I'm about to talk about, I will give you a little bit of what happened. Something happened. Doesn't something always happen? Doesn't something always happen, family? So we had a little. Tennessee State University? We had an HBCU versus MAGA thing. And I want to just give everybody an opportunity to understand what happened before we get into what happened. I want everybody to have, not now, don't play games right now, to have a little, and if you haven't seen it, you can check my Twitter, of course, because there are some people in there who are going just wild and crazy. Just this is how I know people are crazy. When they just get in they have no argument. They just get in your thread and just say, well, I tell you what, you ugly. Y'all remember we did that in elementary school, middle school, you ugly, like when I see grown people get involved like that, like I know, oh, okay, you don't have an argument. So your argument or what you're trying to do is basically right now, you're trying to like get me emotionally triggered. Like that's your argument, to just get somebody emotionally triggered, not understanding that dog don't hunt over here. But however, so there was a this person, Eric Doherty. You ugly, the party of tolerance strikes again. Left-wing rioters kick out young patriots who tried to set up table at Tennessee State University, HBCU. First of all, these were not leftists. These were Negroes. Like, stop trying to put an ideology on what happened here. That's the first thing. That is the first thing. Stop trying to put an ideology. Everybody is on Twitter. Now that Twitter is like a right-wing place, everybody's trying to clout chase, as were the people who were at that school. So let me just give you a little bit from something a bit more credible than whoever this Dodo person is. A group of Make America Great Again hats wearing Make America Great Again hats and carrying signs with inflammatory messages was removed from the campus of Tennessee State University, a historically black public school in Nashville. The group appeared on campus at around 3:15 on September 23rd, according to a Facebook post. from Nashville chapter of the NAACP. The group was called Fearless Debates and carried signs that read DEI should be illegal, deport all illegals now. And, you know, that little stupid thing they do, which says, you know, I mean, it's a shame. It is a shame. I actually think that it is sad that, you know, may he rest in peace, Charlie Kirk has only been passed for a little while, and there are already people trying to kind of take his place. I think that is very sad. That's the kind of clout chasiness that we have going on now. That is very, very sad. Y'all should really do better than what y'all doing. But that is really sad. But that's what happened on campus. Now, let me just put a couple of more quotes up, and I'm just going to tell you what I think about it. They attempted to draw students into conversations centered on these messages, which were framed as debate, but functioned as provocation, the Post read. A statement posted to TSU's Facebook page said the group was unaffiliated with the university and not authorized to be there. Now, that first part, not authorized to be there, that really gets me going, because you know what they always say about us. Well, why don't y'all just comply? You should just comply. Why won't y'all just follow the rules? Why didn't y'all just follow the rules? You went onto a campus and set up shop without following any rules that anybody has set up. That, first of all, is disrespectful, and it shows that you.
Well, it's their white privilege. They don't need permission if they're wearing a MAGA hat. A MAGA hat apparently is just like a skeleton key. Have hat, will travel. And racism knows no bounds. Racists don't respect borders. They don't respect private property unless it is their own.
It shows how weird and strange you are. See, because I want to stop hearing people. Stop telling me about, oh, y'all don't want to have dialogue. Listen, y'all haven't wanted to really have dialogue for 400 years. And when I say it, I'm not talking about white people. Stop telling me, oh, you just don't like white people. They go back and forth with me. I love who I am because they go back and forth with me. They go back and forth. Oh, you look white. You just care about skin color. Which one is it, Dodo Bird? am I white or do I like which one is it, you Dodo Bird? You confused, ain't you? You just stuck up. Your head is stuck in there, ain't it? You don't know what to do. Do. But stop talking to us about dialogue, because by now we all know what this is. We know that you're not there trying to have a dialogue, right? We know that the cameras are rolling and you're trying to do the same thing that Charlie Kirk did. But what is he trying to do, Yvette? You're trying to do the same thing. You are trying to go viral. Like, hold on a second, because I want to bring up another quote. Because the funniest thing is people behave as if Kirk went viral for they behave as if he went viral.
No, Rick, actually, whiteness is the problem.
Happened. We
white
all know
privilege,
that happened.
white supremacy.
He didn't go viral.
Individuals aren't necessarily
Right?
the problem, but
for
they
saying,
can
hey,
be.
There's a pink hair.
So
this
the
pink
bottom
hair
line
trans person.
is
I got them told.
doing
this
this doing this deflection, like people are talking about individuals. These are individuals that were unauthorized on a college campus. Okay. And they shouldn't have been there. No one invited them. They were not, they weren't affiliated with the university. Why are they trespassing? So whitey isn't the problem. It's certain whiteys certainly are.
That's what
and if you'll recall, a bunch of HBCUs were put on lockdown because of bomb threats and the like after Charlie Kirk's demise. It's more than whitey's the problem. It's whitey is out of control. All because one of their favorites got assassinated by a white boy. So this fucking joking around bullshit is both unwelcome and just like really unnecessary. How about fucking listen to the story and then make jokes?
So it wasn't. So stop telling me about dialogue. I just want to read this one quote. At all times, TSU students conducted themselves in a professional and respectful manner. The TSU statement read, the safety and well-being of our students Faculty and staff remain our highest priority. TSU will continue to uphold the university policies and ensure campus remains a safe, welcoming, and orderly environment. I thought y'all liked law and order. An orderly environment for our members and community. Stop talking to me about dialogue. You got to stop talking to me. People on the right wing, y'all got to stop talking to me like y'all care about dialogue. This is not dialogue. This is clout for social media. This is provocateurs. This is not what this is. Stop saying y'all don't want to talk to white people. Why don't y'all want white people on your campus? I don't understand. This is racism. This is segregation. Y'all ought to be ashamed of having segregation on your campus. I don't like segregation. Well, actually, the stats say anywhere between 8 and 14% of that TSU student body is white. When I was at Howard, I had white professors. Nobody is afraid of white people. This is not a case of being afraid of white people. It is not wanting to be around people who are intentionally provocative, trying to cause disunity on campus so that they can go viral on TikTok or go viral on Instagram or go viral on YouTube. Like, we just don't want to be used for fodder. You are not there to have a conversation. Stop playing with us as if we don't know exactly why you're there.
Blacks have not entered
somebody gets taken
God
out,
damn it. What a
inexcusable.
blacks have not entered the chat that I'm aware of, except blacks who are on the right. These people she's talking about, Kimmy, went on to Tennessee State University's campus. It's a historically black college. So they trespassed there, not the other way around. They weren't invited onto campus. No one was dialoguing with them. And to be honest, I have no clue what you mean. Charlie was assassinated by another white person. Why did blacks enter the chat? What chat are you talking about, by the way? But they weren't invited onto that campus. That is what she's talking about. Relevance, Kimmy?
When somebody gets taken out, what that means is that there's a space, and a lot of you little people want to play that.
This is Tennessee State University, not Howard. Now, this lady went to Harvard. I'm sorry, to Howard.
With white folks on this campus, we have a problem talking to you, right? We have a problem with you. You are provocative. You are racial provocateurs.
What's up, Tamika?
You're not only here. I love what I remember when Bill Clinton started talking about. We got to have a conversation on race. No, if you're not prepared to fix it, like this is the most insane thing to me. White folk. When I'm talking to those on the right who are propagandized. Y'all have a mental problem because you cannot understand that HBCUs are only here. And hey, graduate of a HBCU here, Dodo Bird. HBCUs are only here because the good white folk, right? Enough of them refused to see their kids educated alongside us, right? And so land grant institutions, first they didn't include us, then they did, we were able to get money for our own schools. But these schools only exist because you decided you didn't want to have your kid educated with us. Okay, fine. We still got HBCUs because your ancestors was racist, hanging people from trees, doing all kind of stuff. You come from a bad lineage. Those of y'all who are in my thread. And don't say, well, you think white people? No, this is not about white people. This is about you. Stop trying to, listen, we talk about Trump winning this election. We don't talk about Hillary Clinton winning the popular vote. When she won, there was a lot of white people in that. So stop claiming all white people. I want the right wingers to stop claiming all white people. All white people ain't with you. All white people ain't never been with you. So stop saying that we feel a way about white people because we feel a way about your stupid self. They're not the same. We feel a way about you. You are a provocateur. You come on campus to be a provocateur. You have decided, your people, America decided with laws. Segregation. We don't want your kids educated. Okay, we have white people Decent white people too. We have some decent white people too. That the Howard University, my alma mater, white man, right? Like who said we're gonna help to get these little Negroes educated. So, but that had to happen because you all wanted to be segregated. Enough of you. So we had some good white people. We had some white people who wanted to be segregationists. But what happened because of that is that we ended up with HBCUs. You cannot then come in and say, put your hands on your hip like you worth something to somebody other than your mama and say to us, why are you being racist? Why don't you believe, or why do you believe in affirmative action? Why are you segregating yourselves? Wait, what are y'all, what planet, what kind of gerbil planet? Like, we are not segregating ourselves. We never did that. Don't tell us, oh, these HBCUs, y'all want to be segregated. No, you wanted it. Why don't you read books? You wanted it. We never wanted it. We fought it. You wanted it. The reason we're separate is because of you. And not all white people. We're separate because of you. You, Jethro, are the son of Jethro Sr., who is the son of Jethro. That's who y'all were. You inherited that ideology, that right-wing, that racist right-wing ideology from them. And that's the reason why we're segregated. We're not segregated because we decided one day, you know what? We just don't want to be around white folk. That's not what happened. I know there are a lot of black nationalists and people who want to tell you that's not what happened. They otherized us. They said that race meant something, that melanin meant something, that kinky hair meant something. And so they were not going to pay for us to be educated. So we had to be educated elsewhere. You did that. How do people come in and blame you for something that they did? I don't understand that. And people are like, how would you feel? How would you feel, Yvette? If white people wouldn't let you on their,
You know, and to kind of, take Yvette's point and apply it to a lot of people that I run into these YouTube streets, they want to act like, number one, all black people are the same, all white people are the same. There are a ton of white people who would never want to be associated with the Be Braves of the world. If Be Brave, for instance, can't seem to accept that. Most white people, I would almost say a vast majority of white people, they don't believe in that fucking racist shit. So stop pretending like all white people believe that. And the opposite is true. It stuns me that people cannot figure out that HBCUs were not created by black people post-Civil War. It was literally a way to segregate African American students or black students, whatever you want to call them, from their white kids. This is what happens when you don't read books and you receive a poor education. You think about 2025, but never think about how we came to be like we are in 2025. And too many people in my chat and in other chats, they just fucking don't know how to critically think. And I'm guessing it was because they were never given the tools when they were in high school or college. And that's why I get so pissed off. And I'm not shy, especially if you're like an older adult, like 35 and above. No, I'll blast your dumb ass for some of the stupid shit that I hear. I hear black people in these chats. I hear white people in these chats. I hear all kinds of people in this chat. Not today's chat necessarily, but just, in the universal chat. Dude, people simply do not know American history. And it is both frustrating and hilarious. It depends on the day, I guess.
their campuses. You did that for generations. You still do it. What are you talking about?
Irrelevant.
How would I feel?
What does the
That's
founders
exactly
being
what you
white
did.
have to do with this
I ain't a white
argument,
person.
Kimmy?
these people are nuts. I had a racist put on my thing. That was a woman. Remember the woman who was going into a segregated school? They put that on there in my thread and said, how would she feel about what you're doing? The reason what y'all did to her is the reason we have HBCUs. You should fall on your knees and pray for morality to enter your heart at some time before you pass away, because it is not here. It don't know you. You know that song, Love Don't Live Here Anymore. You should switch that thing up for them. Morality don't live here anymore. Dun, 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 dun. They don't. It don't live with y'all. And it's not my fault. I didn't do it. I didn't raise you. I didn't do any of that. But just stop coming on these campuses talking about how you want to have a dialogue. You don't want to have no dialogue. You want to be provocative. You want to say something that makes you go viral. You want to say something and that makes one of these kids go viral. You want to cause disunity. You are harmful. And let me just say something else. After, given what we saw a bunch of HBCUs get threatened after Charlie Kirk got shot. We didn't even do nothing. This was white on white crime. We didn't have nothing to do with this. But we got threatened. Why on earth would we want to bring your debauchery to campus? Why? Why would we want you here? Charlie Kirk, may he rest in peace. He was talking. He wasn't hurting nobody. And then we had a bunch of white on white violence. We saw a shooter on top of a building. Why would we want to bring that kind of violence to a campus that doesn't know that kind of violence? And why would we want to bring you here? We saw what happened. We didn't even do nothing, and y'all was over here calling you. Didn't do a threats. We had done nothing wrong, and we were getting threatened. What happens if y'all are here? No, you're going to bring the wrong kind of attention. You're going to bring violence. Violence follows you. We don't want racist violence at our institutions. These kids.
Yeah, that's right. Why would we want a bunch of fucking white kids shooting up the place? She is absolutely right. UVU, Utah Valley University, is not a historically black university. And Utah, and I can attest because I've been a couple times, dude, you can go a day and not see another black person in Utah. So she's absolutely right. Why bring that white bullshit, that white right fucking foolishness to Tennessee State University, which again is a historically black college? Why be there? They weren't invited. They weren't affiliated with the university. They just fucking showed up in their MAGA hats.
Kids are HBCUs. They're not even trying to be around you right now. They're trying to learn, and you're trying to be provocative. We already see what that has. All this, we're just trying to have a conversation. Mr. Kirk was having a conversation too, and we saw what happened. Right? We don't want that. We saw what happened to him, and we saw what happened to us in terms of the threats, in terms of the aftermath. Thanks, but no thanks. You are a problem.
No, I don't have to respect the chat, Kelvin.
And you created this.
Where are you getting this idea?
Oh my gosh. These people have a school that caters to them.
You got a wrench. Why don't you police the chat instead of participating in the chatter?
In the comments just saying the stupidest stuff.
You have a wrench for a reason, sir.
At a very high clip, go into that thread. I haven't turned off the comments. I love degeneracy because I can just go back to it and be like, this is you. this is you. Is this you, Jethro? This looks like you. So I love that. I love that. I love it. But I understand when we don't. I love to go back and say this is what they did. They were not the same kind of dialogue you see in my thread right now is the same kind of dialogue they want to have. It's just they just want to provoke you to do something that they can use it and put it up and get 1 million clips. That's not a dialogue. And let's just be honest. Like we have had people who were great at dialogue. We have had Ella Baker, Fannie Lou Hamer. We have had Martin Luther King. We have had Frederick Douglass. They were some of the best people at dialogue. We have had Ida Wells Barnett, some of the best people at dialogue. White people weren't interested in dialoguing. And when we talk about white people, we're talking about y'all. We're talking about the racist fanatics We're talking about the people who believe that we are less than. Y'all are not interested in dialoguing. You're interested in putting us back in our place. You're interested in having some kind of provocative conversation that undermines and demeans us. That's not the kind of dialogue we're interested in. Sorry. We're not.
And Kim, I told you, apparently you weren't listening. Nobody invited these MAGA people onto Tennessee State University. The only blacks I know that have entered into the conversation have been anti-black blacks. I reported Charlie Kirk as news, and I certainly have opinions. Maybe you should be more specific and tell me which blacks you're talking about, because not all blacks entered into the conversation. How about be specific and help me out?
Interested in that kind of dialogue. You got to take that home. We're just not interested. And people hate when you're not interested. It's not, listen, it's I would love to say it's not you, it's us, but it's you. And why can't y'all just follow the rules? Just come on. I just love it. Whatever though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was fussing at Kim. Kim, blacks were brought into the conversation. If you see this headline on the left-hand side of her head as you're facing the screen, HBCUs face campus threats following Charlie Kirk's shooting. Okay, blacks were brought into the conversation. They didn't voluntarily, enter into the conversation. So I literally have no clue what you're talking about. If there are blacks who willingly entered the conversation, can you be specific and give me a couple names? Blacks in general, that's much too broad, and quite frankly, it's unhelpful.
You just hate white people. I don't care if they're white students. You just must hate us. What's your problem with talking? No, what is your desire to make us talk? Like, I've never had a desire. Why are y'all so obsessed with us? Like, because I've never had a desire to make somebody talk to me. Like, if somebody doesn't want to talk to me, I've never had the desire to try to coerce them into having that's never occurred to me before, to try to coerce somebody into having a conversation. I have never gone anywhere uninvited either. I don't just show up on college campuses and say, I'm going to prove to you reparations and you talk to. I have never done that. I don't go in. I have a little bit more self-respect than that. Right? That's not who I am. That's just not what I do. I always think there has to be something wrong with you if you show up to places like that. Y'all chasing off the whites. No, we have white students at these schools. We're not chasing off the whites. that's not what we're doing. we have that's not what's happening. We're not chasing off the whites. We're chasing off the provocateurs. And we have every right to chase off the provocateurs. Right? Y'all are trying to take a wonderful school with a storied history and and change it into some mess. We have every right to chase off the provocateurs. Go away. Like, you got to think about it. You made us go and be by ourselves. It's because of you that our schools exist, and here you are chasing us. Y'all said y'all don't want to go to school with us. We have HBCUs, and here you come. For what? Why are you here? Listen, I don't know what's wrong with these people. I really don't. I don't know what's wrong with them. It's something wrong with them, though. There is a problem. There is a problem. It is something undiagnosed. For you to come on campus like that, there's something undiagnosed. Dialogue. This is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. You all are very dangerous. You've proven to us throughout history you're very dangerous people. The right wingers with the fanaticism and the belief in racial difference, you're very dangerous to us. You should not be on campus. You didn't even want to be educated at all. You just wanted to pick the cotton. You're very dangerous people. HBCUs are the consequence of white racism, institutionalized white racism. Like, I don't even understand what we're talking about. TSU celebrates 135 years of second moral act of 1890. Okay? At the heart of celebrations was legislation itself, which created a system of HBCU land grant institutions in states where African Americans were denied access to public higher education. That legacy continues to shape TSU today. Over the years, the College of Agriculture has built a reputation for excellence in teaching, research, and extension. With hundreds of undergraduate and graduate students, more than 70 faculty members, 37 arts, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, all in spite of you. And you chase us down and still harass us. That's verbal harassment. What y'all are doing at that school when you are trying to chase somebody down and have a fight, because that's what you want. You don't want a dialogue. You don't want a conversation. You want to have a fight. And when you're chasing someone down and you want to have a fight, I'm going to call the police because I don't want to have a fight. And you don't have a right to force me to have a fight that I don't want to have. What part about that? Like, you think you're supposed to own my attention, just like you thought you were supposed to own our ancestors. You think you're supposed to own my attention. And to all the white folks who just get caught up on skin color, listen, I say it all the time. We're descendants of slaves and slave masters. Y'all were so fixated.
You know, it amazes me how moronic people can be. Now, Kelvin, you would rather fucking get in there and look at the color of her skin instead of the content of her argument. And quite frankly, it's unimpressive. Okay, you can fucking ask all kinds of stupid questions, but the bottom line is she is right, and you don't even live here. Oh no, I'm not triggered. I'm disappointed, son. But I guess I shouldn't be too surprised.
I hope y'all get better. But just like you wanted to own the women slaves and do what you wanted with them, and just like you wanted to own the men, do what you wanted with them, and have them do other stuff and make your money, you think you still own it. That's why they went on that campus that way. There was a sense of, I own this and I can force you to talk to me. Why don't you want to talk to me? Why don't you want to engage me? Why don't you want to make content for me? We don't have to make content for you. We shouldn't have had to pick cotton for you, but we don't have to make content for you because you're going to come on that campus. You're going to get a bunch of views. You're going to do a bunch of stuff. We're not going to get a dime. That's why I'm opposed to platforming these people. I am, because they're not coming. They never come in good faith. And I include Charlie Kirk in that. Nobody was there. He wasn't there in good faith trying to have a conversation. He was trying to do something provocative that he could use to get clicks online, that would be used then to say these people are crazy and then get donations. You're not here to have a conversation with me. You're here to create content, to make money, to get donations, to start something new, to be a star. None of this is for me. None of this is for a conversation. I don't value your time, and you obviously don't value mine. I'm not giving you I'm not giving you a debate. Go home. Why don't y'all have something better to do than harass us? Go give your child a lollipop. Go make your wife or husband a grilled cheese sandwich. Go to a movie. Why do y'all always have to harass us? We over here, you made us go to different schools because you didn't want to be educated with us. Now here you come with MAGA hats on. Nobody wants that. Don't you get it? We're trying to live our lives. And unlike you, we experience joy sometimes. And we have a life outside of you. We don't want you to be here trying to provoke us into acting up or being mad or being upset, because all you want to do is say something racially offensive. That's all you want to do. So I think your problem is that you don't know what to do with the Negro who don't want to be used no more. And you can't force us to be used. You can't force us to, like, when somebody, I never do this because I have run into people. I ran into a conservative a while back at an event. Conservative said, Negro conservative, you know the kind. I wanna, hey Yvette, me and you debate this thing. Let's debate reparations, something, put it on. I'm not gonna let you own my content. That's content that you finna go make money off of, and you think I'm stupid. And I don't want to be on your platform. I don't want to be edited up by you. Go home. I walk right off. No, I'm not going to be used by you. Because I would never know you, and I don't want to know you. I don't even remember your name. Why would I let you make content with me? And I think I was trying to eat what Red Fox called a horse diver. I was trying to have an hors d'oeuvre. You come over here talking about trying to make some content for who? Well, we can make one for your channel too. My channel don't need one. I don't need you. My people don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are. Who are you? I'm not gonna make no content with you for what? Why would I do that? Why would I allow you to like clout chase using me, my image, my likeness? I think the part of the problem that you're having is that we're too smart for the stuff you use at these other colleges. These other colleges were allowing you and were buying into the idea that you were here in good faith. You never were. Now with Charlie Kirk, he got bested at a lot of different colleges, but like he never came in good faith. He came to he went to the DNC, may he rest in peace. He went to the DNC and this guy came at him. I spoke about this last time, and the guy came at him and said, you know, Charlie Kirk, Trump tried to undermine the election. He did this, he did that, he did this. And Charlie Kirk, instead of debating the points, he said, what's the difference between a man and a woman? And the dude was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm talking about Trump, and I'm talking about democracy, I'm talking about election. The only thing he knew how to do was like get you to go in a specific direction. He wanted you to make an argument that he could argue against. Anybody who tries to get you to make an argument that they can argue against is not arguing in good faith. And there's a name for that, but you're not actually attacking my argument. You're trying to put me in a position to argue against an argument that I am not making. You got all kind of stuff going on, red herrings, a whole bunch of stuff. You got a bunch of stuff going on, but you're not arguing in good faith. That's not a good faith argument. I'm not arguing against people who are not arguing in good faith. I'm not making content for anybody either. I'm not a content factory. So don't come to me and pull out your camera. It will get the back of my head. But you thought you could just do that. We're just gonna go to this little Negro school and we're gonna get them mad. Y'all was so mad that they weren't that they just ran you out and didn't give you the content. You won't be able to use that. Like the Negroes with the BLM signs or whatever they was doing to just a paper cup. Oh, they threw a paper cup on top of the car. They had a paper cup. Oh my God, a paper cup. Did you see what y'all just did? Did you see y'all just shot somebody down this month? One of your own. You're gonna talk to us about a paper cup and you're gonna come in my thread. Oh my God, y'all are so violent. It was a paper cup on top of their car. Y'all had some white on white stuff that took down a man who had kids and everything, young parent. Don't talk to us about nothing. We just don't want y'all to bring all that to our campus. Is that all right? We just don't want it over here. Is that okay? We don't want none of that violent stuff that y'all be doing. We just don't want it here. We wish y'all were not so obsessed with us. We wish I were not so upset, especially when the existence of HBCUs is just a consequence of systemic racism, of systemic oppression. We really wish y'all were not so obsessed with us. We really wish y'all would not make accusations of us when y'all are the reason that this is happening in the first place. The First Moore Act created land-grant colleges, but excluded Black students in the South. And we talked about what created Tennessee State University. The Second Moore Act forced segregated states to either admit Black students or create separate land-grant institutions, leading to the founding of many HBCUs like TSU, NCANT, Florida A&M, etc. What we're talking about is you are the reason, white folk, the racists who are in my thread right now, you are the reason that HBCUs even exist. If you knew your own history, you would know that you are the reason for the season. The reason HBCUs exist is not because I guess y'all want segregation. HBCUs exist because of good old-fashioned white racism. If it had not been for you, if it had not been for what y'all still believe, because we can tell, if it had not been for that, we wouldn't have none of this. We would have no HBCUs. So if you're in my thread and talking about, so I guess you want segregation back. I guess that's what you want. We never wanted it. Never wanted it. That was always you, Jethro. We never wanted it. We fought against it the entire time. You said no, you didn't want to get, and the government said, hey, if you're not going to give money to them, you have to give money to separate institutions. And that's how we got our colleges. Well, I don't understand why you say they're your colleges, because we pay for them. Hold up, who is we? Because when we talk about federal dollars come from everybody. It's a bunch of different ethnicities in this country. Barack Obama got elected without even getting the majority of the white vote. It's a bunch of different people who pay taxes and federal dollars and grants and stuff, whatever, and that goes to HBCUs. It's a bunch of money that goes to a bunch of other institutions too, which are not HBCUs. This is what America does. This is not, you don't pay anything, Jethro. This is not just about what you pay. Do you think just the radical right is the only group that pays taxes? It's a multi-ethnic group of people that pay taxes, and that money gets distributed. It's not you. I'm getting tired of the racist right-wingers just saying, well, y'all just don't, well, it's white people pay for it. It's people that you hate. No matter who they are, it's people that you hate who are liberals, Democrats, leftists who also pay for it. You don't pay for it. Don't act like you go up there and just write a check. Well, it's white folk. You just don't like white folk. I just don't like you. And I don't like people like you because you're racist. I have a problem with you. It's not a problem with white people. It's a problem with you. It's a problem with you. It's a problem with everything that you represent. It's a problem with who you are. It's a problem with what you and people try to do on campus today.
You know, the thing is,
stop trying to own.
The thing is a lot of these racists like Be Brave think they speak for all white people. And when you tell them that in this whole thing with Bob and CT literally started over Be Brave pretending that he knows how rich white people think. Be Brave literally thinks he's the voice of white America, which is fucking laughable. It is hubris. It is retardation. And all these white people, you call them out. Ooh, you hate white people. She has the perfect answer. No, I don't hate white people. I just hate you. And all these people like Be Brave, and I'm kind of picking on Be Brave, haven't talked to him in quite some time, but the glories of all the science and math and everything that white people invented. Well, motherfucker, you wouldn't have been one of those white people because you don't have the education or the background. Stop claiming science in the name of whiteness because you contributed nothing to it. You are just as much a client of all that science as I am. Stop acting like you had something to do with it. And quite frankly, you want to talk about white culture? Nah, white culture ain't going to claim you. Go back to your doghouse or outhouse or whatever the fuck it was. Didn't even pour a goddamn concrete pad. He just laid down some bricks and called it a foundation.
Own all white people. It's a bunch of white people in your own family that disown you. Don't stop trying to own them. You hate a lot of liberals. You hate a lot of white liberals. You hate a lot of white leftists. You hate a lot of people. You hate a lot of Asians. You hate there's a lot of Latinos you hate. It's a lot. Stop talking to me as if this country is just run by the racist right wing. I'm talking about an ideology. I'm not talking about a person, and I'm not talking about a group. Stop acting like you're the president of white people. Like you had a meeting with the entire white delegation, left and white, and they was all racist, and they all decide a thing. No, shut up, Jethro. We tired of listening to you. And I think that's what they hate, honestly. I think what they hate is that they can't just tell us. He couldn't just crack a whip and say, "Get back here." You gonna talk to me if I want to talk, you gonna talk. That's what you hate. You can't do that right now. That's what you hate. You hate that people ran you out of there. You think you should be able to go there and use us for clicks. That's a problem. But if you wanted there to be an integrated space that you were a part of, an institution or a school that you all went to, then Jethro, your great-grandparents should have not been segregationists. Because we could have had that. We could have had remember what I say, y'all, I hate kumbaya politics. We could have had kumbaya though. We could have had that, but y'all didn't want it. Now you can't come on campus and be like, why they don't want to talk to us? Stop chasing us. So we all always want to be around us. No, y'all always try to be around us. Why we can't try to be around y'all? We don't try to be around you. You are the majority in this country. And there is residential segregation. So we're not around you residentially. So stop talking like you know Negro. But there's no way, there are states where there are not a lot of ADOS. So there are a lot of you all who don't see ADOS every day. That's true. But stop talking about it like we're just running behind you. No, the wealth is in America. The wealth is not just the wealth is everywhere. America is a multi-ethnic melting pot or whatever. We're around each other on a day-to-day basis. Nobody's running to sniff your butt crack. What are you talking about? Well, you tried to go to Princeton. That's trying to get an education at like a top tier school. That's not trying to be around you. You didn't even go to college. What is Jethro talking about? What are you talking about? Do y'all know I don't know. See, so I just wanted to come on for a little while and make sure everybody had seen that, and make sure everybody, if you haven't gone to the thread on my page, please go to it and check it out if you have not, because they just in there, they so lost. They so lost. You pray for them. Pray for them, because they don't know. They don't know which way to go, which way to turn. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do anything but to just insult you. Like, that's all they know how to do. Like, I will show you segregation. You already showed me segregation. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to show you segregation. I already seen
Kelvin, I'm surprised it doesn't remind you of Be Brave.
I already seen it.
He yaps constantly, too.
You've done it. Well, I'm going to tell you, this is what we want. We want.
No, Brian, actually, she's not whining about it.
People have always wanted. This is not news.
She's not typing in the chat.
Do you think this surprises us in any kind of way? That this is what you want? No. We know this is what you want. We've seen your president try to erase our history. We've seen our books get taken. We've seen the Confederacy rise again. People, what did the Stephen Miller say at the Kirk funeral? You released the dragon. Yes, we released the dragon, the grand dragon, but he was never too far away. We know that's what you want. What are you talking about? Well, y'all behave so uncivilized. You could have just let them walk by. You didn't have to say nothing to him. Well, y'all could have left Charlie Kirk alive and well too. Why didn't you do that? Why did you? Don't talk to me about somebody running you off campus and then who didn't do nothing but throw a paper cup on top of your car. Talk to me about what y'all did to that man. Because there was no Negro there doing. You talk to me about that. I just want y'all to understand one thing. Racists need to understand one thing. I don't care how much you call us savages. I don't care how much you try to make that stuff fit. It does not fit. You can never make that fit on us. That will always be the racist who does not have the moral high ground. It will never be us. Anything that we do that is not right is always a consequence of you. Y'all could commit crimes. Those are poverty crimes. Whenever you courting people into a ghetto and don't give them opportunities, they will have poverty crimes. That's what that is. Talk to me now about your crimes and about why your people are always climbing up on rooftops trying to hurt people. Talk to me about your people, why they was hanging people from trees years ago. I want you to talk to me about that. I want you to talk to me about why they dragged James Byrd in the 1990s on the back of a truck. I want you to talk to me about systemic discrimination that still happens. I want you to talk to me about how an ADOS person still has to hide the pictures in their house if they want to sell it, so nobody knows there's a Negro that lived in that house, because they want to think it's all white people, because people still value whiteness as more. You cannot talk to me about having a moral high ground. I know too much. I know too much about this country, and I know too much about you. And I know every time you try to call me a savage, I know every time you try to call me that, you're calling me that because you're projecting and you're trying to make yourself morally superior. And you know what you've done, and you know what your ancestry has done. That is on you. You got to stop trying to put it on me. We're not climbing on rooftops. We're not doing that. We didn't do it to Trump. We didn't do it to Kirk. That is you, and that is yours. And you need to tend to your own house. Instead of going out here and trying to clout chase and do all this stuff, tend to your own house and figure out what's going on with your young men and your young boys and why they picking up guns. See, because y'all going out here trying to police us and talk about us all the time, your young men are downstairs putting together arsenals. Your young men are downstairs with more ammo, got enough ammo to run a small army. That's what your young boys is doing. They're going in schools and doing all kinds of stuff. So before you try to talk to me about, oh my God, he robbed somebody, I need to talk to you about what you're doing. The Bible says something about that too with your fake Christian self, about trying to take the rod out of somebody's eye and you haven't even inspected your own eye. Go figure your stuff out. Part of the reason you need to leave us alone is because you need to handle your business, and you have a lot of business to handle. There's a lot of stuff that the government has allowed you because the government has benefited, and capitalism and white capitalists have benefited from telling you that, hey, the Negro is your problem. But there's a lot of stuff you got to figure out in your life and in your family that ain't got nothing to do with us. I saw a whole priest go around talking about something this other week, and then people come out and talked about and had all kind of allegations about the white priest. You all have stuff to figure out. Stop climbing on rooftops. Figure out what's going on in your own circle of peers, in your own house with your own kids. While you were taking your kid, but the kid who was on the rooftop, the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk, they was on running around him, teach him how to do guns and all kinds of stuff. Next thing you know, he's on a rooftop hurting somebody. Hey, mind your business. You have other business. Stop talking about, well, black people did and Adolf's dead and y'all come from slaves and y'all don't know that. Stop talking about us. Stop being obsessed with us. We are not the problem. We are not the reason that your kids or your mate or somebody goes into a school and shoots it up. That is not us. We did not cause that. This is you. And you keep trying to use us as a way to avoid your internal problems. And we're kind of tired of it. Your problems are your problems. Stop trying to distract. Stop trying to deflect away from the problems that you have. The problems that have been festering and you haven't dealt with because you've always been able to deflect to the Negro. We're tired of it. So no, you don't get to come on campus because you're not going to talk about nothing. You want to deflect and you want to make some money, and there's a bunch of money in this clout chasing stuff. We don't want no parts. We don't want no parts. We don't want no parts of what you're talking about. You don't even understand enough American history to talk about us. I don't know how y'all call yourselves patriots and Americans, and you don't know one iota of American history that involves us. You don't know civil rights history. You don't know, oh my God, segregationist history. You don't know HBCU history. Hey, read at least 30 books and then come back and talk to me because you don't know enough to have a conversation about none of the stuff you're trying to talk about. You are just annoying like a fly around hot poo. I'm tired of you. Everybody's tired of what you won't deal with yourself. And stop trying to talk about how y'all just don't like white people. No, there are white students at HBCUs. There are white professors at HBCUs. Like I mentioned earlier, the problem is not white people. The problem is you. There is a mirror in every bathroom. You might want to look in it. You might want to just try to figure out why you just try to go around the internet and say hateful things all day. What's wrong? What's wrong with your family? What's wrong with your spouse? What's wrong with your child? Do you have friends? Do you have life? Do you garden? Do you do things that might be beneficial to yourself? Like, what is this thing that is in you that makes you just deflect to try to harm people? That you will decide that it's okay for these people to go to the school. And I wonder, would you be okay with people going to a Jewish school and saying, I don't believe in reparations for the Holocaust. Prove me wrong. You wouldn't do that. You would have more sympathy for that. You would be way more sensitive about that. So tell me why you aren't sensitive about us. And I could answer it for you. You're racist. That's racism. If you have sensitivity towards one group and what they went through, but you have no sensitivity towards this other group, when the thing that happened to them happened in this country and happened at the hands of the state, and a lot of your descendants, and you have no sympathy for that, but you have sympathy for something that happened in a whole other country in Europe, because it happened to white people, you're a racist. And I can't help you see yourself. I can talk to you right now and hold the mirror up in a way that may help you see yourself, but I can't force you to see your mirror, because I tell you, some people, just like I say, ugly people don't like mirrors. They skip past them. They don't see the truth in them. And I'm not talking about physical ugliness right now. I'm talking about who you are internally. You have made yourself believe a thing that's not true. You have made yourself believe a thing that is not true. And I think if you looked in that mirror, you will see a history of a lot of people, too many people, who have been vile racists. And instead of trying to intervene in that history and be something different than what has been, that's too difficult for you. You may lose your friends. You may lose your other friend. You don't want to do that. Instead of doing that, you just kind of go along with the crowd. You go along with the horde. You're a follower. You're not a thinker. You're not a brilliant person. You're not a bright person. You're not a thinker. You go along with what the little group thing say. What does the horde think I should say? That's what you do. And the horde says to you that it's okay to go onto the campus of an institution that only exists because of racism. Right? And the white people and ADOS people who said our kids deserve to be educated. That's the only reason that it exists. Because of ADOS people, slaves, their descendants, and white people who said, I'm going to be different. But not because of you. That's the only reason it exists. Without racism, we will have no HBCUs. And you want to go onto that campus and antagonize them and debate them about whether or not they should be included in the workforce. Right? You want to antagonize them. You've already chased them away. You've already chased us away from institutions. I say this as a Howard grad. You've already chased us away from institutions, your institution. That's why our institutions, HBCUs, exist. Now you want to come onto our institutions, on our campuses, and antagonize us there. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. But you have no moral core, and you have no moral code, so you have no shame. And that has always been your failing. That's why you're so loud about Jesus. That's why when I go to your page, it says God first, family second. You have to posture about Jesus because you don't know him for real. You don't know God for real. You don't know joy for real. You don't carry a song in your heart. You don't know none of the stuff you talk about. So you have to posture in a way. You have to perform Christianity because you don't know it for real. It's all a performance for you and the unwashed horde. Well, today I was happy to see that my people rejected it. Fam, if you have a chance, I'm gonna do it at some point. At some point today, make a donation to the school. I ain't even made none in my school because they've been bad to me. That's make a donation to TSU. They did the right thing to not allow racial provocateurs who mean them no good on campus. And that's all I got to say about it. And anyway, fam, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate y'all. I will see you Friday. What's the date? Friday at 2 on Patreon. If you have not joined Patreon, please patreon.com/ycarnell. Also, last week or the week before last, I went live on Substack. Tried that out. So go to my Substack if you have not. Just type in Yvette Carnell Substack and go there. I'm trying to because you never know what's happening on these different platforms. So I'm trying to be in as many places as I can. So, you know, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. And fake Christians, I really wish the rapture happened. It's because it's so many people think they gonna go somewhere. It's gonna be. I don't believe it's happening. But I just really wish it did. I really wish this morning. It was supposed to be this morning, yesterday morning. I really wish one of these mornings that these all these people with these little fake God first. Like the person will call you a monkey and they will be in your DMs talking about you. And I know it because I saw it. I had somebody call me an NIGGA monkey. And then I went to their page and it said Jesus first. Woo! It was a lot of fake Christians at that stadium for the memorial too. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. But you know, I believe in redemption. Go redeem thyself, child, because y'all don't know none of what y'all say y'all be talking about. But anyway, fam, I appreciate you. And I will see you on Friday. Please be easy breezy. Don't bother nobody, family. Don't let these people bother you. They crazy. They ain't got good sense. Don't get banned off Twitter, nothing like that, because these people crazy. They got mental problems.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and end it right there. She's absolutely right. What the fuck was Turning Point USA even doing on Tennessee State's campus? They they weren't invited. They weren't excuse me, they weren't affiliated with the university. They just kind of showed up and wanted to have a quote dialogue. And I actually heard about the story, but I didn't get into detail. But I hope they just called the cops to have them escorted off the campus. Especially after a bunch of HBCUs got bomb threats and stuff right after Charlie Kirk's death. And for the folks in the chat who can't seem to understand or can only accept stuff like this from white people, like if a white person says it, y'all are all attentive and calling that white person a genius. When a black person says it, it's like, oh, well, you start getting into all kinds of how she looks or who you think she is, instead of listening to what she's saying. And quite frankly, I tend to be unimpressed. That's why I kind of get pissed off sometimes with some of these anti-black blacks. Okay, blacks voting for liberals is literally not what she was talking about. And it has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's death. So someone who wants to act like blacks cared about Charlie Kirk. I don't know how many people over this weekend who were like, well, I didn't even know about Charlie Kirk till he got killed. It is, unless you're into politics, a lot of white people had no clue who Charlie Kirk is or was. So pretending that, black people are getting all involved with this Charlie Kirk stuff, it's sheer fantasy. It's fake news, basically. So, Yvette saying it's Turning Point. Fearless debaters, they had on MAGA hats. So maybe that's all we need to know. I thought I heard her say it was Turning Point. Maybe it wasn't, but fearless debaters in MAGA hats going on campus uninvited is trespassing. Okay, they had no business being there, is the point. No one invited them. They weren't a part of, any sort of organized campus group. They were just there being disruptive. And, I'll just go ahead and say it. They thought they're white and they have on their MAGA hat, which apparently they think is some sort of universal pass, wanting to cause trouble and get a viral moment. Yvette is right about that. And quite frankly, I'm kind of surprised that so many people literally would rather sit here and just trash her appearance or, whatever it is they're trashing, rather than listening to what she says. That's why America's so fucked up. You would rather describe and wonder about her sexuality and wonder about her hair and wonder about all these esoteric things. Debate? Well, y'all are too busy trying to figure out what she is or who she dates or, what she had for dinner than actually listening to what she has to say. So, you know what? No wonder America is in a downward spiral. MAGA is the albatross, but quite frankly, a lot of black people aren't helping matters much. The anti-black blacks, y'all are part of the problem, in my opinion. So with that, everybody, please make sure you hit the like button. Unsubscribe if you don't like what I'm saying or what Yvette said. Hit the down button. I will be back. Pretty sure I'll be back at kind of the normal time, 7:45 a.m. Eastern time in the morning, and I will see you all then. Have a good night, and try and read a book tonight. It could help many of you out with some of these weird warped ideas you like to spew into the chat.